Does that not sound stupid? Take a gander for who she went with. I had tears in my eyes. I was like, no, there's no way she just said that. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. I voted for. Be so for real. Be so for real. Be so for real. This man, this man, at least they're not delulu thinking that they had chemistry when they didn't. There was nothing there. On my phone, on my Wi-Fi, what the freak what am I watching? Surprise, freaking surprise. Girl, you've just been kind of striking out the whole time you've been here. Not gonna lie, they didn't have any chemistry from the beginning. We were having like 30 people up in that house. Him pulling off his shirt the minute she said she was cold and giving it to her? Kick him out the house. Did y'all not do background checks? I ship it. For free, I ship it. What do I look like not shipping it? And I'm not gonna lie, them conversations, he was just trying to stay. Hey y'all, my name is Des, and today I want to yap about Love Island Season 7. So this video is, I'm trying to remember the span of episodes. I know I ended it on episode 26, 27, whatever episode they ended with the Maybelline coupling. I don't remember what that was, whatever. I'll put it on the screen, whatever it is. I can't remember at the moment. And then on that episode and whatever episode came after the last video, I don't know. I'm honestly really losing it with these videos. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna hold you. It's been a lot. So you just, you gotta watch the first video and then the second one, and then, you gotta follow along with it, and then, we get into it. So in today's video, I just want to talk about the controversies between the episodes that I said on the video. It feels like it's kind of a little less to talk about from the last set of episodes that I did. I don't know if it's because I just didn't write down a lot of stuff, but yeah, honestly, we just gonna get into it because, girl, I'm tired, you're tired, we're all tired, genuinely. So let's just get into it. Just so y'all know, whatever episode came out today, which is Friday, I haven't seen it yet, so this is not anything to do with that episode at all. If anything I say is gonna get contradicted in this next episode, then so be it. Not my issue, okay?
If I'm not your nose, don't pick me.
If I'm not your tree, then don't climb me, babe.
If I'm not your shot, don't take it.
If I'm not your bed, then don't make it.
Just so you know, I haven't seen that episode yet, so I have no control over whatever I say getting contradicted. But anyways, we're just gonna get into it. Let's get it poppin'. So within today's video, we are dealing with a lot of islanders because we have to think about Casa Amor. So let's get over this list already. We have Pepe, Nicolandria, Chelley, Ace, Sierra, Huda, Taylor, Austin, Iris, Amaya, Andreina, Nick, TJ, Jaden, Coco, Clark, Vanna, Grayson, Elan, Brian, Zach, K, Zach, C, JD, and Chris. It's a lot of people. I'm gonna try my best to name names, but girl, there's a lot of people in this house. So the first little controversy I want to talk about is, in general, the casa setup. So with the set of episodes I'm talking about in this video, it starts with Casa Amor. That's the first episode of Casa Amor. That's what we start with. I did not like the casa setup. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't like any part of it at all whatsoever. I think, one, giving the people coming in that amount of power to the point where somebody can go home, it's like, I don't really like that. I don't really like that you're just giving these people who are just coming in all this power. Like, that's weird. They're not my people. What, like, you know what I mean? Like, that just feels crazy to me. And also, my real big issue with it is the fact that they're forcing you to couple up with somebody. I think it should be different. Kind of like, I haven't seen Temptation Island, but I've seen like videos about it basically, so I get like the gist of it. So I like the idea that you're putting these people with these other people, and they could do whatever they want because no one's gonna know except for them and the people who are there, unless they tell somebody. But they can either choose to do something or they can choose not to. But with this new casa setup, you are forced to couple up with somebody. Why? Because then at that point, it's basically like anything you can do is fine. It doesn't really make any sense. And then it's also like they didn't put the exact amount of boys and girls in each house, so it left one person single, and it was like, you have 24 hours to find a new connection or you're gonna be dumped. Does that not sound stupid? Giving somebody a time limit to find a connection, an exact time limit, because yes, in Love Island, you always basically have a time limit to couple up with somebody or have a good connection with somebody, but you don't really know when that time's gonna be up. So it's not like it's leaving room for you to be fake. Like, straight up saying you have 24 hours to find somebody else to couple up with or you're gonna have to leave. Did y'all not expect like fake interactions to pop up? It didn't happen with Amaya, but on the boys' end, TJ was the one who didn't get picked. And I'm not gonna lie, them conversations, he was just trying to stay. What got me was when he was trying to talk to Grayson and she was like, yeah, you ranked me like a terrible kiss. And he was like,
oh, well, that's like
no, TJ, you just trying to stay. I get you trying to stay. Like, I don't know why they gave you a time limit. They should have just let these people roam free, see what they were gonna do, and let it happen. I only have one thing to thank the Casa setup for, and that's gonna be our next controversy. So I kind of alluded to this next little thing, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the thing that really brought me back in, because within the last episodes that I talked about in my last video, I was not, I literally said I'm only gonna continue watching because I'm doing these videos and it, you know, it makes it more fun, something to look forward to, I guess. But this little situation is really what brought me back in. I was like, okay, I'm kind of liking Love Island again. Nicolandria, guys, Nicolandria, I ship it. But free, I ship it. What do I look like not shipping it? After them getting coupled up, even before, I've literally been low key shipping it. I haven't been hardcore because there's been so many other things going on, but I've been low key shipping it ever since Nick secretly kissed her in the blindfold challenge. I don't know if he ever told her that he was the one who kissed her or if he told anybody, but I just love a man who yearns, and him doing that really felt like you're yearning for her, because we never got, I don't know if he ever talked about it genuinely. So it was just like, wow, he's really yearning for this woman, like real life. In every single challenge, them picking each other, it was like, oh my god, guys, they're low-key really cute. Like, I ship it low-key. My whole thought process throughout the whole thing is like, I think they're really cute, and I honestly like rather them be coupled up than Sierra and Nick. And I kind of wanted Sierra to find somebody else that wasn't Elon. I don't know if it's Elon or Elan, I don't really know, but they had no chemistry. I'm not gonna lie, it's not like they had no chemistry. It was very clear that Sierra didn't want to be with him, so I'm like, that's fine, he's a Zionist anyways. Like, kick him out the house. Did y'all not do background checks? And we're not gonna talk about Sierra because I really feel like she's about to not be in the next episode I'm watching tonight. I'm not gonna lie, because girl, they got you for what you posted. But that's not what we're talking about right now. Nicolandria, him pulling off his shirt the minute she said she was cold and giving it to her. Oh girl, I don't know how you move on for that. Taylor ain't never done anything like that. I've been seeing so many edits of people being like, what's that? People being like, it took Taylor like weeks to compliment Alandria, and Nick did it as soon as they got coupled up. Nick was doing it from the beginning anyways, but it was like, it didn't take Nick long at all to literally say, you were the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life.
I waited for 3.5 years. White man did it in 1 week. I waited for 3.5 years. White man did it in 1 week. I said I waited for 3.5 years. The white man did it in 1 week. We got to get our act.
Taylor couldn't even say I'm attracted to you. Even when Olandria was like, Jalen tells me how much he likes me and you don't do that. It's not like he was like, yeah, you're beautiful. Like no, he was like, yeah, okay. She literally just told you that a guy who's potentially gonna steal her is complimenting her like crazy, and you couldn't even at least give a pity compliment. Yeah, that's when I knew, Taylor, you had to go. But Nicolandria, y'all real cute. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think anything was gonna beat the Jeremiah and Andreina kiss, because that kiss was hot. I'm not gonna lie, that was really hot, and I was like, girl, y'all better get together. The Nicolandria kiss, the makeout, the yearning in that man's eyes. He wanted that girl bad, and he had her in that moment. I don't know how they're not coupled up, because you couldn't take me away. You would have to drag me away in handcuffs. I'm not gonna lie. So the next thing I want to talk about is the huge recoupling. Post-Casa one. We were having like 30 people up in that house. It was a lot going on, and I want to basically go about this by saying my predictions, or at least the people I kind of wanted them to be with, along with my predictions, and then I'm going to talk about how it actually went and my thoughts about it, basically. So starting off with Chelley, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted Chelley to be with Chris. I think she needed a nice change of pace and somebody who was a bit older, a bit slightly more mature. Not saying Ace is immature, but I kind of wanted her to have a nice little change of pace, and at the same time I wanted Ace to be with Coco. Or it's not like I wanted Ace to be with Coco. With Ace, it was more like I assumed he was picking Coco because he's so, I don't know. I can't. Ever since he picked Amaya, I couldn't trust him to pick what he truly wanted. I thought he was about to do some slick stuff and pick Coco. I'm not gonna lie to you. I predicted Chelley was going to choose Ace, but I kind of wanted her to do Chris. But I knew kind of for sure she wasn't gonna choose Ace after Huda pulled her aside and said she wanted to get to know Chris. So I predicted Sierra and Nick were gonna be together. That was honestly a no-brainer. I knew it even before he came in and she cried immediately. Like, I knew they were gonna pick each other. My poor Nicolandria dreams, like, you will be missed. So for a speed run, I knew Andreina and Brian were gonna pick each other. I predicted Austin and Jaden, obviously, and Pepe and Grayson. Like, these are people who really weren't talking to anybody else. I knew that was gonna happen. So at the time, Huda was coupled up with JD. Not gonna lie, they didn't have any chemistry from the beginning. Like, it was giving, she was trying her best, but Huda, no, he was not giving what you were giving. Especially after they had that super awkward conversation. Girl, the secondhand embarrassment I felt, like, I've never felt that before. It was bad. Like, go her, honestly, that would have made me crash out, because who are you talking to like that? But whatever.
I can tell you like being dominant.
I didn't want Huda to be with him. I didn't really care who she was with as long as she wasn't with him. With that being said, I wasn't really a big fan of TJ, so I wanted Amaya and Zach to be together. They had really good chemistry at that point. It was like, y'all are kind of cutesy. You're feeding off of each other very well. And JD, I just, something about him, it just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. He just gives off, he looks at women a certain way. I'm not going to say what certain way I feel like, because I don't know this man personally, but that's just how I feel. I predicted that Iris and TJ were going to be together, or at least I hoped, because TJ and Vanna had no chemistry. It was very much so a calculated move so TJ could stay. That was the whole thing. They had no chemistry, and they both admitted it. And that's, that's completely fine. At least they're both aware. At least they're not delulu thinking that they had chemistry when they didn't. There was nothing there. I just really wanted Iris and TJ to find their person, because Iris also didn't really have any chemistry with Zach. See, it was the best outcome for that. And finally, I did not want Nicolandria to pick Taylor. I really didn't. I wanted her to move on. I thought it was glaringly obvious that he really didn't like her after she came back during Casa Amor. And I predicted Taylor was going to pick Clark. It was just so obvious that he just didn't like her. That was just my prediction. Honestly, at the end of the day, I was ready for Taylor to be off my island, because the way you treated Nicolandria, you done pissed me off. Like, just go. So now I want to talk about the actual results of that coupling and how I actually feel about it. So for Chelley and Ace, they did pick each other, which, that's honestly really cute. I'm glad Ace didn't disappoint, because I feel like him choosing Amaya, like, it was like the expectations were lowered. I don't know, you just expected him to do some crazy stuff and pick somebody that he didn't even want to talk to. Iris and TJ picked each other, and it was honestly so cute. I've never seen her so happy, and I'm here for it, because girl, you've just been kind of striking out the whole time you've been here. You found somebody, I'm so happy. Amaya and Zach got coupled up. That was very cute. I called it, because her and JD once again had no chemistry. I don't know if this is just how he is with women, but it was not hitting. So since Chelley chose Ace, Chris ended up choosing Huda, and Huda chose Chris, and honestly, she seems very happy, so I'm here for it. I'm just ready to kind of see more about it, because we didn't really get to see a lot of them in actual Casa Amor, but she seemed very happy, so I'm like, oh girl. Sierra and Nick coupled up with each other again. It's fine, Nicolandria is dead, I guess. Whatever. It's fine, Now the actual big thing was the coupling with Taylor. So of course Clark and Nicolandria wrote Taylor's name down to couple up with, and it was revealed at the end that Taylor chose Clark. Surprise, freaking surprise. And I'm just like, this is how you know he really didn't like her, because in Casa, of course, like, you guys chose each other, there was no one else to really couple up with, but this was your chance to prove, like, if 3 days with one person overrides 3 weeks with another person, he proved that's how he felt, you know. And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, like, if I get attached or something like that, but if I'm with you for 3 weeks straight and I'm all about you, I'm not just gonna move past that for a 3-day thing. Like, you literally see every single person in the villa pick somebody either they were coupled up with before or somebody that they had already showed interest in. Like TJ, he was single, so it's not like he was coupled up with somebody before, but him and Ira showed interest in each other, you know what I mean? Taylor was the only person who picked a person from Casa, and it really felt like, okay, so you really didn't like Nicolandria. I don't know why she didn't see it, but it was like, I don't know, I feel like maybe he was playing in her face, definitely. But it's like, at the end of the day, we should have seen this when he stood up for Sierra. Like, I talked about this in my first Love Island video, and I didn't see a lot of people talking about it, but even Nicolandria called it out. The fact that you had a 5-minute conversation with her and stood up for her, yeah, you should have known that he didn't like her, because you got a baddie to your right and you're standing up for the other one to your left. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just like, girl, you just need to leave that man alone. At the end of the recoupling, they got to choose a girl and a guy to stay. The people who are at Casa got to choose the guy, and the people who are in the villa got to choose the girl. The people in Casa, they chose Elan, and the people in the villa chose Nicolandria. Those are actually the predictions I made. I don't know, I felt like I wanted Nicolandria to stay, and I thought the guys would save Nicolandria. It just kind of made the most sense, and that's who they ended up saving. I just need to see Nicolandria move on. Once a man chooses another person over you, that should make you move on. I don't know why you would stay, especially for someone who says they know their worth. This recoupling, I don't know, it got me, because I was really scared Nicolandria was gonna go home, because low-key Taylor was pushing for her to not stay. Like, I literally started tearing up, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think I would get that emotional over it, because it's not like Nicolandria is my favorite girl in the house, but I do really like her. But I literally got on the floor, prayed to the heavens, and she got saved, and I was tearing up. It was really rough, but that was the result. We still got 20 more freaking people in this house. Like, I can't do this. Lord, now I want to talk about something that was, ugh. I hate even talking about it, because it's also draining me. Like, it's literally making my eyelids droop right now, because I don't even really want to talk about it, but I feel like I need to address it. Huda versus Chelley. Girl, this was just some mess, okay? Basically, every single season of Love Island, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure it happens every single season, they do a heart rate challenge. Typically, they do it per person, basically. Like, all the guys will be sitting at the fire pit, and a girl would come in individually and do her thing and then leave, and the next girl will come, and they'll do it vice versa with the guys. And then at the end, they'll say which person made each person's heart rate go up, basically. But this time they did it by couples. So the couples would come in their lingerie looking costumes, whatever, and they would do whatever thing they planned on doing, go to each person individually, do some throuple kisses. I don't know, there was a lot going on in that challenge. I'm not gonna lie, I had to pause my screen a few times, because I was like, girl, on my phone, on my Wi-Fi, what the freak what am I watching? I'm a little scared. What's going on? So that happened. And throughout the game, you know, everybody's doing their thing, everybody's making out, kissing all over, humping. Girl, it is there, getting it on and popping. It's crazy. So then I think Chelley and Ace went before Huda and Chris. When Chelley and Ace go, they do their thing. Chelley, you know, kisses Chris, of course, because whatever, but she ends up going to somebody else and then doubling back to Chris to kiss him even longer. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. So yeah, she did that. And then fast forward to Huda and Chris going, it was like, at some point in time when the couples are doing their routine, they can bring somebody to this little like heart in front of the whole fire pit and, you know, make out, would do whatever you want to do with that specific person. So when Huda and Chris came out, they brought Ace and Chelley to the center, and, you know, they're each making out with their respective people, whatever. Chris and Chelley end up finishing their little part of it and, you know, going back to the fire pit, and you turn around and it's like Huda's still on top of Ace, still making out, grinding, and then she turns around to where her butt is facing his face, and there's a jump cut, and it cuts to Huda and Ace getting up. So we don't exactly know what happened because they cut whatever happened out, but people are assuming that she sat on his face. And basically after that, they went to go sit down, and Chelley was like, yeah, we'll talk about it later. And Ace and Huda were basically saying it's just a challenge. It's just a challenge. So this is kind of one of the first times I've ever kind of not fully been on Chelley's side, because usually Chelley does make a lot of sense, but within this situation and her and Ace's individual situation they got going on, I was kind of like, I see it. It's like, my thing is, I see both sides. Huda is basically saying it was just a challenge, and at the end of the day, it was just a challenge, honestly. But Chelley is basically saying that it's about the principle. It's about the fact that if anybody did that with Jeremiah, she would have lost her mind. So it's not necessarily about specifically what you did. I guess it's just like the fact that you would get mad if somebody else did that, and yet you did that to Chelley, basically. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. It was just like, at the end of the day, it was the lack of respect and the lack of self-awareness that Huda has when it comes to the other girls and their guys. And then fast forward, Chelley and Huda still aren't talking, but Chris is still interested in Chelley, so he makes her breakfast along with Huda. This man made Chelley a plate of breakfast and gave her 2 pancakes and a flour, and then gave Huda a plate with 1 pancake and, you know, other food, obviously. But Huda's issue is that he gave Chelley 2 pancakes and a flour and gave her a pancake and no flour, and I'm just sitting here like, Huda, he done told you Chelley is his number one. Are you even surprised? Why are we getting mad about breakfast once again?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Once again, getting breakfast from somebody is a privilege at the end of the day, especially because you're not even dating. So the fact that he's making you breakfast in the first place, me personally, I would be like, you know what, thank you. Because you didn't have to make me this. You could have let me be a grown woman and make my own breakfast, but you wanted to be sweet and gentlemanly, and you made me breakfast, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you. And it was just like crazy, because the way she was coming at him, being like, oh, it's really showing favoritism, blah blah blah, after he literally sat there and consoled you when you were having a pity party and sounding like a crazy pick-me, talking about some, oh, I deserve it, after Maya accidentally spilled something on her. Be so for real. And then I feel like I will say, bro, she came over to Nicolandria like crying and stuff, and it was silent. Nicolandria was just eating her food. She was talking about, oh, this food is real good, and you could see in Huda's face like she wanted Nicolandria to be like, what's wrong, how do you feel, or whatever. And Nicolandria was just sitting there like, my food is really good, I'm gonna go get me something else too. And then Huda asked her, am I a terrible person? And Nicolandria said, I wouldn't say you're a terrible person, but I'm gonna go get me some more food. She was not feeding into that, and people are online saying she's a mean girl for that. Do y'all not know the amount of support they have given this girl throughout the whole thing? If I was one of them, I would be exhausted, because it's really draining to be around people who are so like emotional a lot. And I'm not saying she's emotional like invalidly, I guess, but when she's emotional, and it's like okay to be exhausted from that and just not want to feed into that. Like she's fishing for someone to compliment her and reassure her, and at the end of the day, you're a grown woman, like reassure yourself. What got me was in her conversation with Chris about the pancakes. This girl says, if I were ugly, would it be better? If I were ugly, would it be better? I had to pause my screen. I know I said a lot that I had to pause my screen. I mean that wholeheartedly. I could not. I had tears in my eyes. I was like, no, there's no way she just said that. There's no way you just said that. I'm not even gonna unpack even the mess around just that statement alone. I'm just gonna say, girl, that's embarrassing to say. that's really embarrassing and really pick me energy. And it's just such a weird thing to say. It's okay to think that, but it's so weird to say that out loud and genuinely want like an answer. I don't know. The whole Huda and Chelley situation really just drained me, but they made up eventually. I don't really care that much about it because it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna lie. So the final controversy I want to talk about, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised I'm done this early, even though this video is probably just as long as the other ones, but it's really not that big of a thing to talk about because I feel like this dumping was just so we can weed out the nobodies, essentially. Not saying y'all are nobodies, but you're not really giving us much, I'm not gonna lie. So with this dumping, they did another poll for people to vote for their favorite islanders. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. I voted for Amaya and Nick. They basically brought out the 3 lowest girls and the 3 lowest boys. I made predictions, and then I made predictions for who people were gonna vote to save. So for the girls, I predicted that it was gonna be Jaden, Grayson, and Clark. Just because I feel like America is hating a lot on Clark for the whole Taylor situation, which I get some of it because there were a little questionable things that like she either said or she made faces for or whatever. I was just thinking because a lot of people don't like her for the Taylor situation. So that's who I predicted for the girls. For the guys, I predicted Taylor, Austin, and Elan. I'm not gonna lie, he's not really giving much. I don't know, I was just throwing out anybody. I didn't really know who else to really put up there. That's just who I assumed. So I was only wrong about 1 girl and 1 boy. They did not put Clark up there, but they did put Andreina, which kind of surprised me because I feel like people really like her, so I was a little surprised. I don't know, I don't dislike her. I think she's like funny. I don't know, I feel like more people dislike her than I knew. So I was a little surprised, I'm not gonna lie, but she was up there. And then instead of Elan, it was TJ, which I was also kind of surprised. It's not like I really like TJ, I just think like him and Iris are kind of like cute, so I was like, oh, maybe that's what's gonna make people like them together, like them individually basically. So I was a little surprised, I guess. Like out of all the people you could have put there, I don't know, whatever. The Islanders were able to vote individually who they wanted to save, and what they had to do was they had to go stand behind who they wanted to save. I'm not gonna go through every single person standing because I really just feel like that's so tedious. It's really not that big a deal, especially because there were specific people that I knew weren't gonna be saved. I knew Grayson wasn't gonna be saved. I knew Jaden wasn't gonna be saved. I knew Austin wasn't gonna be saved. I thought Andreina also might not have gotten saved. Okay, let me do my logic here. In my mind, the perfect person to be saved was TJ. I feel like that made the most sense, and let me tell you why. You could argue that it made sense to possibly save Taylor because he does have a strong connection, and he has a connection. He seems to really like her. I'll say it's strong or whatever. But if you're really thinking about it, what he did to Nicolandria, he could easily do to Clark, and you just wouldn't know. But with TJ, he's been all about Iris, like basically since he came in. I feel like it made the most sense to choose TJ because him and Iris are very strong. I definitely say stronger than Taylor and Clark. So I felt like out of those 2 who could possibly be saved, that made the most sense. And then with Andreina, I didn't think it would fully make sense for her to be saved because she didn't have any connections really, because Pepe turned her down and Brian is not really messing with her right now. So I just didn't really, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. At the end of the day, it came down to Taylor and Andreina. The last vote was Sierra, which in my mind, I was like, either she's going to go with her girls or she's going to go with her man. Take a gander for who she went with. So, spoilers, Taylor is still in our villa. I'm kind of surprised Taylor was saved. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like the most logical one was TJ, but I digress, I guess. At the end of the day, I don't have really a lot of thoughts about this dumping because, like I said, we dumped pretty much nobodies or people that we weren't really getting a lot from anyways, or people who were already basically getting cut off. Like Pepe already cut off Grayson at this point. What else were we gonna have? Like, I don't know. These girls were just not that entertaining to me, which is why I was kind of confused in the categories where people were putting them like in top 5. I was like, they're not really giving anything. But okay. Right. At the end of the day, the best takeaway from this is Austin McTrumpy is out my villa. He's gone. Hallelujah. It took, I don't know how many weeks to get this man out. He had so many chances to leave, and y'all done kept this man in. He gone, girl. He gone, and you can't bring him back. Thank you. That's my takeaway. So yeah, that's it for these steps of episodes. I feel like I'm drained, but it's just been like a whole lot of just like nothing going on, if that makes sense. When I say a whole lot of nothing, I mean nobody's strong. Nobody is in a strong relationship, so I feel like nothing has happened up to this point. Like, y'all are draining me for what? Just to not even have any strong relationships? It's like, oh my god. I'm so tired. But I guess for dream couplings, I don't really know. I hope Chelley and Ace work it out, because at the end of the day, I know they mess with each other. I just need Chelley to get off this Chris train, because I feel like it's just, you should have just left that connection alone and stayed with your man after you literally chose to couple up with him. This late in the game, just stay with Ace. Like, please. Huda and Chris seem really cute. I hope they're, they're chill. I'm hoping they kick Sierra out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm ready for her to be at my villa by the time I watch this next episode. So I'm hoping Nicolandria. I need Nicolandria to be rekindled, and I'm hoping it happens tonight, because Sierra's about to get kicked out, guys. I'm manifesting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm manifesting. I don't know why they're not doing background checks and making sure you're not bringing literal racist people in this house. I honestly kind of hope Maya and Zach work it out. I think if they genuinely just sit down and have a deep talk about it. Zach has said some crazy stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. People are shipping Amaya and Brian. I don't really feel it. They feel like they could be really good friends, I think, because I just feel like Brian understands her on like a more familial level, I guess. I don't know. The way he was defending her, it was giving very like big brother, I got your bag. Like, it wasn't, I don't know. I'm just not feeling the chemistry, I guess. I don't know. I guess Taylor and Clark, I don't really see that going anywhere, not being together. I just know they ain't getting 100K. Who the freak else is in this house? Now we done left Pepe and Iris single, so I don't know what they're gonna do there. I really don't know what's going on. I'm just going in that video here. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, subscribe to my lifestyle channel, because I'm trying to rekindle it. I kind of recorded a video last week, but I didn't really successfully do it, so I'm just gonna try to brand it as attempt to do this. So hopefully that'll be up eventually. I have so many videos in the works. Not so many. I have one I'm editing right now. I recorded one yesterday. I have to edit. I have that one for my lifestyle channel I have to edit, and then I have this one. So I am putting a lot on my plate. Not that I'm doing anything else. I'm currently unemployed. I should be able to get it done, but just be on the lookout for these videos, because I have a really fun one coming out for something that I watched recently. So yeah, just be ready to see something about that. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I attempted to do my hair. I'm so sorry. It's like it's a ponytail. It's like, you see, but it looks a little lopsided. I couldn't figure it out. I just said, you know what, let me just press record. I ain't got time for it. I'm really exhausted. I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you for watching. I love y'all. Bye.